This overview dashboard where you have a company name and one automation is the perfect starting point for every new client that you sign on as well. So we want to give Claude this information. What I'll do is that I'm simply just going to create a new session. Then I'm going to use the create skill and I'm going to drag these in. And I'm going to write, I want to create a skill that creates this kind of front end and back end system to when I close a new client. It should be a generic skill. So first it should ask what the client name is, what the domain is for their emails, etc. It should gather all of the context first. Then I wanted to build out this template with the front end and back end first. After we have built out the structure, we should not have any automations yet. We will then later build automations, but the entire structure should be there, so it's very easy to do. This skill should work standalone, should not reference these folders. It should have everything included with references, etc. inside its own skill. I'm going to give it an ultrafink and hit enter. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to write use subagents to gather all the context for how this works. Thank you. I'm also going to write include everything like design, how it works, the domain, the stack, etc. Use subagents to gather all the context for how this works. Thank you. There we go. Bit of a long prompt, but we're going to use the create skill now. And again, this skill is inside the Claude skills folder, which is inside the free community. So to get this skill, just go inside of Classroom, go inside of Learning Hub, and inside of Claude skills right here, you have all of my Claude skills in this drive folder. And it's completely free to get. There we go. Now it's going to start building out this, and it's calling it new client system skill. This will probably take some time because it needs to gather all of the context first and then build the skill. But you really want to learn how to do this, because every time you build something new for a client that potentially could be replicated in the future, you want to build a skill around it. If you don't do this, you're going to start from scratch every time you land a new client. When you do this, you're going to make your life much easier. And there we go. Now you can see the skill is ready. If I go into a new Claude session, let's restart Claude right quick. And we then write new client system like this. It says scaffold a new client's full stack Next.js 16 front-end dashboard, trigger.dev backend worker from the Shiny automations template. Use when the user says new client, onboarding client, scaffold, new client system, etc. And of course, I'm also going to drop this skill together with the rest of the skills inside of the Google Drive. Now you know how to create full agent dashboards, and you can of course customize this to however you want. If you want graphs right here showing you the task, you can ask Claude to build it. If you want to add a specific automation, you can ask Claude to build it. If you want to add something inside of settings where they can add the users themselves, you can tell Claude to build it. But what I want to do now is build some more automations inside of this dashboard to show you how that would look as well. Let's get into it. All right, let me show you how to build out some more automations inside of our own automation system. What I'll write is I'm going to take this folder and this folder right here, which is basically all the files that this system includes. And then I'm going to write read how this works, use subagents, and then I'm going to say specifically look at how the automations are created, etc. Then return to me. We just want to give it the context for how this AI system works before we then try and build out a new automation inside of this session. So it'll probably take a couple of minutes. All right, so let's automate some more business processes. Let's say the onboarding, for example. A lot of businesses right now, they do manual onboarding. So they send out emails manually, they send out the contract manually. They do all of this stuff manually. We can create an automation for this as well and display it inside of here. So we can now write, I want to create a new automation that is called start onboarding. This should, and let's write up what it should do. Send over contract via Gmail using Composure, of course. Send another email with a Calendly link where they can book an onboarding call. Send an email with an onboarding survey, for example. Send another email with Calendly link. So the connection we need It's probably just Gmail. The user will provide onboarding link and calendar link. Because it already now knows the structure of our system, this should be extremely easy to set up. I'm also going to write, please add this task to trigger.dev, of course, like the other ones, straight to prod. And there we go. Now it's going to build out this automation just like the other one. There we go. That was extremely fast. We can actually see that building out this automation actually took only 3 minutes. And it was also a pretty simple automation. But we're going to start here before we build something a little more advanced. But let's say that we just closed me. This is my email. This is my company. Then we can say send a contract URL. This could be something like a DocuSign, but we might want to change this to an actual PDF. So maybe let's do that. Let's copy this and say, can we instead here upload a PDF on the new tool? Thank you. Then it's going to change the automations to do that. Then we insert the onboarding survey and then the calendar URL. So the calendar URL could be something like this. The onboarding survey URL could be something like this. And then we need the contract URL, but that's going to change. Now we can instead upload a PDF, but I actually want to generate the PDF instead. Can we actually instead generate the PDF? For now, we just generate a dummy contract. But when we generate, we insert the actual name and business information, etc. Please update. And again, if the client comes back and says, well, I want this changed, or can we do this instead? Then you have everything in code. Claude can literally change anything inside of here. So it's fully customizable. There we go. Now we don't have a field to upload the contract, but now it's basically just going to send out a dummy one. So let's test if it works. Albert at Shiney.ai, BMA, insert our onboarding survey, insert our calendar form. Send this in, click start onboarding. There we go. You can see it queued this run right here. If we go into trigger.dev and look at runs, we can now see that it's now executing this run. There we go. It took 12 seconds. Let's see if I receive something in my email. Now I get the book your onboarding call, onboarding survey, and your contract. Let's get started. This is all automatically sent. You can see we even generated this draft or placeholder contract that we can always change later to exactly what we want. But now it sends out this contract as well that includes my information. Absolutely insane. We just automated the onboarding process as well.